Hi everyone, let's go ahead and get started with introduction to Seaborn. Previously we have seen pandas, NumPy, Python, Matplotlib. Now we are gonna see how you can plot your data using Seaborn. So in the background, Seaborn uses Matplotlib, but you don't need to use the Matplotlib with the Seaborn because that is automatically getting used internally when you use the Seaborn. To import the Seaborn, you can simply do here import Seaborn as SNS and then import matplotlib.pyplot as plt and then import pandas as pd. Thereafter, you can simply run it. So you see there this plt we will be using to set the figure aesthetics and pandas we will be using to load our dataset. So this pandas is used to load the dataset from the internet and from your local directory, but as of now we can directly use Seaborn to load our data. So now I'm going to use here iris data. So iris data is actually the flower data, and there we have 4 input parameters: sepal and petal, length and width, and based on that we try to find out the category of the flower, that is classification task. But now or today we are doing just analysis, so we don't need to build any machine learning model there. So here data equal to sns.load underscore dataset. In this, you need to tell the data set which you want to load here. So I'm loading here the data, and this data is now a pandas data frame. These are species here. So these species are here Setosa, Virginica and versicolor there. There are 3 species. We have here sepal length, sepal width, petal length and petal width. These are the parameter. Let's go ahead and plot the histogram for this data first of all. Alright, so I'm going to plot here the histogram, and for histogram you can simply use the sns.histplot, and inside that you need to pass there the x parameter. In the x parameter I'm going to use here the sepal length. So I pass here the data and then I pass here sepal underscore length here, and thereafter I just run it. Now you can see there your image is plotted here, and this says that most of these length is concentrated around 5.5 to 6.5. Otherwise you can say there are some other sepal length where it is falling like 4.5 and more than 7, although these numbers are less. So this histogram you can use to identify that what is the frequency of the distribution. Thereafter, you can do here the plt.xlabel. You can use a similar parameter which we used for our Matplotlib to set the properties of Seaborn plot here. I say here the sepal length in centimeter. The plt.ylabel, that is already count. You can just reset it one more time like something this. And then you can set here the plt.title, and in the title I say here the histogram of sepal length, alright, in iris dataset. Thereafter you can do the plt.show. If you do like that, you will be getting your histogram here. Other than that, you can set the parameter of histogram, like you can set the KDE is true. So a KDE plot will be plotted there. You can put the cursor there and then you can get the details of these function. So it takes a lot of the parameter which you can pass if you want to classify these sepal length and width based on some parameter, categorical parameter. You can provide there as a hue. And you can also provide their number of bins if you want to change these number of bins. Let's say you can put the number of bins as the 10, or you can put it as the 20, something like this. Other than that, you can also provide here a hue, and in a hue I want to classify our data set based on, let me just show you here the columns of this data. So the columns are there, the species. I want to put here the hue based on these species there. Alright, so because this hue is not there, for that you can do like x is equal to sepal length. You can pass here the sepal length, and thereafter you can pass here the data is equal to data. So now in the data we have all the columns, and x parameter, x axis is being treated as sepal length, and now we have a species in our data, and based on species now you can see that these distribution. So it says that for Setosa we have here lower distribution, for versicolor we have here a mid level of the distribution, but for Virginica we have here high level of the distribution. So that's how you can use the histogram in your Seaborn to visualize the data. Alright, so this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you next one.